A massive recruiting weekend for Arizona basketball and some Arizona football in here as well.
You are Locked On Wildcats, your daily podcast on the Arizona Wildcats. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for making Locked On Wildcats your first listen of the day. I am your host, Mike Luke. All right, we have got a lot to get to this show. We are going to talk about Arizona basketball recruiting, Arizona football recruiting, because there was a lot that went down. Now, first, we could talk a little bit more about it, but Arizona and Will Riley. Will Riley, a five-star kid out of Canada originally. This is basically going to come down to Arizona and Illinois. Now, a lot of people feel that Illinois is the leader, and for Illinois fans out there, I do not quite understand why you're so upset about this, because, again, nobody is saying that he is for sure going to the University of Arizona, but Arizona feels very much in this one, and they should feel very much in this one because they had a Zoom with him on Wednesday, and all the right questions were asked, and the coaching staff feels that they are very much in this. Now, could Will Riley go to Illinois? Sure, he could. But Arizona is going to continue to recruit him, and that's one thing that we've definitely found out about Tommy Lloyd over the years is that Tommy Lloyd doesn't waste his time. If he doesn't believe that he has a chance of getting a recruit, then he is not going to go all in. And again, he could go to Illinois, and I don't think anybody at all would be shocked by that. But this is also a situation where Arizona feels that they can get him. And if they were be able to get him, that would be massive because then you would have easily the deepest team of the Tommy Lloyd era. You'd have guys that would go 8 or 9. You'd have a team that could go 8 or 9 deep, and they would be proven. And you would have a lot of different options. Last year you had. And it's kind of the same thing before where it was a really, really good team, but you also kind of worried, did it have that next level to it? This team would very much have that next level to it. But as Arizona recruiting goes, if you don't get Will Riley, Damar Sarr visited. He touched down here on Friday at 2:00. You look up Damar Sarr, and you can tell after 5 seconds that this kid is really, really good. Listen, with international kids, there's definitely a concern, especially if the ones that go to college that, how good really are you? And sometimes they turn out to be good. I mean, you look at Lowry Markkanen, obviously. I mean, Azuolas Tubelis. I mean, heck, even Dusan Ristic. But those were all big men, and it's a little bit different, I think. And you look at the Tommy Lloyd era to this point, and it's fair to say that they have struck out on, the international recruiting has not been great under Tommy Lloyd. Now, again, his ability to be able to navigate the transfer portal has been absolutely great. And I think there's a stat out there about it that basically it's basically Arizona and UConn when it comes to schools that are traversing the transfer portal in the best way. Very, very good stuff. But the other thing I think that a lot of people need to keep an eye on, though, is where is, as far as these instant impact guys, you got to be able to see it. I mean, you look at the players that some of the guys that Tommy Lloyd has brought in, whether that's Philly B, whether that's Henry Vasar, whether that's Conrad Martinez, Paulius Morauskas, Adama Ball, although Adama Ball turned out to be good somewhere else. It just kind of is what it is. So, but Damar Sarr, looking at him, watching how he plays, he looks a lot different than those other dudes. Played at a very high level, and he's also on NBA radars now, which is something that, Philly B was definitely never on an NBA radar, so that's certainly something to keep an eye on. Yes, but those are two guys that are very much in the picture. Now, we'll see how this all plays out again because Arizona would love to add another player, and if they could either one of these guys, and this is very much of a first one to commit gets that spot type situation, and I would guess, and again, could be wrong on this. Certainly not a sure thing. Like, we told you for the longest time that Josan Senon was not going to come to the University of Arizona. And We knew that. But with Will Riley and Dame Sarr, I believe that Arizona, and I'm not promising this. I believe Arizona is going to get one of those two players. You get one of those two players, then it is game on against pretty much anybody, because you essentially have all of those things taken care of. You don't really have any weaknesses at that point. And that would certainly be the deepest team of the Tommy Lloyd era. Then we got Tonay Yesu coming in as well. Tonay is absolutely blown up. Now, listen, I'll be watching Tonay at Section 7 up in Phoenix. But the thing with Tonay is you don't really know where what that next level is, because he's kind of physically maxed. But we talked about it before. If Tonay Yesu can get that shot down, then he is going to be a problem for absolutely anybody out there. Just like I said, an incredibly talented player. He's got a lot going for him. We'll find out exactly where it is, but you gotta like Tonay, and I love Tonay. I think Tonay is a really good player for Arizona. You get him, he'd be able to immediately contribute. And this is also a situation where Tommy Lloyd has done a very nice job of getting in on kids early. I think that was probably a little bit of a concern early on, that he wasn't getting on kids early and he was getting in on them late. Well, I think he's definitely learned from that. And Tonay would be one of those players. Again, Tonay is blown up. Tonay can go pretty much anywhere. But the thing that Arizona does have going for him, though, is that he have continued to recruit him. And they recruited him. They started on him very early. I'd look for Arizona to push for a commitment. And if you were to say, Mike, is Arizona going to get him? I would say that Arizona will get Tonay Yesu. We will find that one out. But I do believe that Arizona is in a very good spot. And another one, so there's kind of where you're at with those three guys. And another one who visited here, Koa Peat. Now, we're going to get to Koa Peat in a second. Everybody likes to talk about Koa Peat. But first, let's talk about FanDuel. Check it out, FanDuel. All kinds of good stuff at FanDuel. Here's the deal with FanDuel. If you're looking to hire somebody, if you're looking to look for a job, all of that stuff, FanDuel has you covered. FanDuel.com/lockedon is where it is at. You look at FanDuel and you know that your money is good one way or the other. You know that I can bet on a game beforehand. I can bet on a game after or as a future, and I'm going to be good, and it makes things more enjoyable. That's the thing that it always comes down to. It makes it more enjoyable. With FanDuel, you know that your money is good. So again, check it out, FanDuel.com/lockedon. When like I said, knowing your money is good is a huge part of all of this. So again, get in on the gravy train right now. Check it out, FanDuel.com/lockedon. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. I am your host, Mike Luke. All right, now, Koa Peat. Koa Peat was on campus on Thursday. Arizona is going to be in this one till the very end. Now, with Koa Peat, he's going to get a lot of money wherever he goes, and everybody is basically arming up for this. Koa Peat, it's not like this was a kid that nobody knew about or that is going to take anybody by surprise. Koa Peat is an absolute monster. He's going to be a one-and-done type, but Arizona he certainly hasn't snuck up on Arizona. He's from Gilbert Perry. We're going to get into that in just a second, but he's a player that everybody knows is going to get a lot of money. Now, obviously, he's got brothers that played in college and in the NFL. Andrews Peat, obviously, in the NFL. Cassius Peat went to Michigan State. Todd Peat went to Nebraska. Koa's other brother is a walk-on at Arizona State. All of those dudes, obviously, this group of players has been through the ringer. They know this staff. They've been through there. It is all kinds of really good stuff. But Arizona State is going to be in this one. They obviously have the brother in there as well, so that's something to definitely keep an eye on. But Arizona's going to be in this one. They've been in it from the beginning, and they got a good relationship at Gilbert Perry still. I mean, Arizona and Dylan Anderson left on good terms, and Gilbert Perry's a school that you want to be in on because with Gilbert Perry, you do know that Gilbert Perry, this is the kind of the new one here. And they're kind of on an unprecedented run where Jalen Williams, 6 years ago, he's now a fringe NBA All-Star type player, probably going to get $100 million from the Oklahoma City Thunder. Then you got his brother Cody Williams, who's been invited to the green room. He's going to be a top 12 pick. Then in between, you had Dylan Anderson off to Boise State. Still think Dylan's going to do good stuff. You got Koa Peat as well. We all know what he can do. And now you've also got Bruce Branch coming in, who's going to be a sophomore, who is loaded, who is, another one that's going to probably be a 5-star kid. This is a good school to know people at. And Koa Peat is a monster, though. Back to him for a second. And he would be an immediate impact guy, probably a 16-7 type dude. He won't be at Section 7 because he's going to be competing for Team USA, but somebody that you definitely want. And not only do you want on your team, he is a good kid, comes from the right situation, and everybody has known him from day one. Plus, it's just kind of a flex when a kid has been that good that early. You always want to be able to get a kid like that, and Arizona is in a very nice spot for Koa Peat. I would imagine that they are going to be one of the 3 finalists for him, and who knows, maybe they end up getting him. But again, got to give Tommy Lloyd a lot of credit for something, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. But first, LinkedIn. All right, now, let's say that you're looking for someone, you're looking to hire somebody, or you're looking to, you're looking for a job. LinkedIn is where it's at. Check it out, linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Post your job for free at LinkedIn. And again, LinkedIn's been around forever. And the reason it's been around forever is because it works. Check it out, linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Post your job for free at linkedin.com and Locked On College. And like I said, everybody knows somebody that's got a job through LinkedIn. You probably got a job through LinkedIn, or you know somebody, or heck, you might have even hired somebody. But either way, linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Check it out. You will thank me later. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. I am your host, Mike Luke. All right, now let's talk a little bit about just kind of how Tommy Lloyd's evolving strategy. Big thing with Lloyd, though, is that he's offering kids early now, and that's a good thing. You got to do that in this day and age. And Lloyd's a cool dude. Lloyd's an engaging personality. You want to get to know these kids earlier, and domestically, he's certainly shown that he can recruit, and he can recruit at a high level. Listen, just look in California itself. Carter Bryant, when he committed to Arizona, was a top 5 kid. Kylan Boswell obviously didn't work out here, but Kylan Boswell was a top 15 player. I can continue to go on and on down the line. You get the gist. He's shown that he can certainly get players, and he can get players that are about as impactful as they come. And that's like I said, that's kind of where this coaching staff is at this point. They go after really good players and they get them. I would imagine this 2025 is going to be a loaded class. I think you're looking at possibly a Tounde Yesu, a Braden Burries, some players like that. But and I think that's just going to continue to go on and on and on. All right, now tomorrow, Arizona football, going to have multiple commits that we're going to talk about. And again, maybe an in-state kid, or I don't know, but there's going to be multiple commits we're going to talk about. How exactly do they fit in? Where are they from? Arizona's going to really dip into Texas. And I think when Arizona dips into Texas, you're going to continue to see them do that. And because, again, you're going to be playing in Texas, why would you not utilize that to your advantage if you can? And so we're going to talk about some Arizona football recruiting. Obviously, we'll talk more about Arizona basketball if anything breaks. But, again, there are no off seasons around here, and that's the cool thing about Arizona athletics is that there are no off seasons. You know that every single day something is going to go on that is going to be very, very good. But on that note, as always, very, very much appreciate you all making Locked On Wildcats your first listen of the day. I'm your host, Mike Luke. bear down, back the A, and we will be back with you tomorrow. Again, like I said, there are no off days around here, and that is the very, very cool thing about Arizona athletics.